Shine, ladies, shine in those golden years. You're just getting warmed up.
Welcome to Women Thrive Season 5. This season, you can expect incredible conversations with women from all around the world. We at Women Thrive, not only do we put on incredible conversations with women, host events, retreats, publish a magazine, publish books, and we have created a platform for every woman to shine and share her message. So you right now tapping into a podcast that is globally recognized as the place for women to be and share their message. Be inspired, be part of the conversation, and let's thrive together.
So welcome to another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm very, very excited today to have another amazing guest who is going to share her zone of genius, her expertise, and her vision for all of us collectively, but actually speaking to you specifically. Let's just say if you're getting to that time of year, when you're starting to think about maybe reflecting back on your life, leaving a legacy, and really stepping into your golden years. I think there's many people in this world that think that when you get to a certain age, then that's it. Like, I'm not saying that life has ended, but maybe life does start to look differently, definitely. But maybe that's the end of the exciting chapter in your life. And actually, this particular guest that I'm going to be introducing you to in a minute actually has a different point of view around that, which is an amazing point of view, actually. And she is going to be speaking to us about actually, this is not the end, this is just the beginning. This is about really living the best life as you go into those golden years and being able to lead your life with creativity and excitement and abundance. So I would love to introduce you to Dr. Argie Nell Nichols. She is a visionary speaker, estate and legacy mentor, and the creator of the Her Legacy framework. She's got over 45 years of experience in education and leadership, and she empowers women 55 plus to shape their spiritual, emotional, relational, and financial legacies. She blends her expertise as a master financial coach, leadership educator, and published author to help women navigate the next chapter of their lives with clarity, confidence, and impact. Her signature program, Her Life Legacy, guides women in creating a comprehensive legacy plan that honors their story, educates future generations, and ensures their lasting influence. Please welcome onto the podcast, Dr. Argie Nell Nichols. Welcome, Argie.
Oh, thank you, Abby. Thank you. I am so glad to be here. And that was a great introduction, by the way.
Well,
Thank you.
it's a great bio.
Well, thank you.
I just read it. And I love you. We love you at Women Thrive. We'll
And right back at you. Yeah.
we'll speak about this, I'm sure, on the podcast, but Argie has done lots of different things with us and is a very, very beloved and valued member of our community. And we're so excited that she is going to be joining us on the stage next year on the Women Thrive Summit, as we're recording this next year. And I just really, really love what you stand for. And look, you say in your bio, obviously, I think it's really good that you're focusing on an age range, but actually, this is applicable to all of us. I'm nearly there at your target audience age, but I'm just fascinated by this subject. And regardless of how old you are, listen up, audience, regardless of how old you are, this is for you, right? Because sooner or later, you're going to get there. So the more prepared you are for it, the more excited you can be about it, the better it is all round. So, Audrey, I'm really, really excited to have this conversation with you today.
Well, thank you, Abby. So just this is what I want to say to all ages. If you don't tell your story, who's going to tell it? And if someone does tell it, are they going to tell the right thing? So it doesn't matter what age you are. Chop, chop. You have things to do, things to tell. places to go, people to see. I'm just saying, don't sit in the recliner with your feet up, ladies. Let's go. Your golden years can be start when you're born and end when you get called home. So there's lots of room in between there. So I'm going to teach you today a little bit about how to prepare for those golden years.
Amazing. Right. Argie's now just set the tone. This is the tone for the podcast. She's going to tell you how it is with love and compassion, but with real passion about what you do, Argie. I would love to start off by just finding out a little bit more about you and why you do the work that you do, just for anyone who is listening and watching our podcast today, who this is the first time that they've discovered you. So, what is it? What is your why? Why do you do the work that you do? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, first, I want to tell you a little story about a few months back. I had one of those, I call it my come to Jesus moments. And as you can see from my gray hair, I'm a little bit older than most people, but I'm thinking, am I ever going to retire? And when I say that, then all these thoughts come flowing through my mind. Is there going to be enough money? How can I afford health insurance? Oh, my health is not the best it could be. And I'm thinking, well, I've done everything right. For 45 years, I've been educating people, fabulous students. And let me just say right up front, that was my passion. It doesn't matter what age, it didn't matter. It just didn't matter. I just loved communicating, sharing, and teaching. But then I hit this magical moment a few months back, and I'm thinking, there's got to be more to life than this. It's like I was sitting in my chair and I was kind of seeing my health crumble, mainly because I was sitting in the chair. And then I was thinking, well, I don't read anymore. I used to read a lot of books and share knowledge that I picked up. Well, I wasn't doing that. And then I got to thinking, man, I've published articles, I've published books, but I haven't done any of that lately. What's wrong with me? And it was just like my grandpa used to say, that old crazy mule that lives out in the back pasture, sometimes you have to hit him in the head with a two before. Well, I kind of had to smack myself around a little bit. Now, I didn't physically hit myself with a two before. I might have been better off if I had,
Right.
but it made me realize that I'm not done. I have so many stories to tell, and I don't want anybody else telling them because they don't know the good stuff. And man, do I have some good stuff. I see another book coming in my future. So, in the middle of that, I guess we'll call it my season of, I don't want to say heartbreak, but it was like an awakening. I realized that I'm going into my golden years, and girl, I'm going to shine. I'm going to put on some bling, I'm going to put on some lipstick, and I'm going to get out of that recliner. Then I got to thinking, well, how am I going to tell these stories? There's so many of them. And how am I going to, what kind of legacy am I going to leave for my grandchildren? Are they going to remember canning dill pickles with me? Are they going to remember making jelly? Are they going to remember hiking the Grand Canyon with me? What are they going to remember? And I'm like, I need to document this. Now, we're in a digital age and things are a whole lot easier to document these days. Like the videos, the stories, you can just punch a little button on your iPhone and record your stories. Those will be things that your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren will cherish for years. And you want them to know those stories. But I always say that legacy is not just about stuff. It's not about the money you leave for them. It's because here's my philosophy. I'm not leaving them a penny. I'm going to spend every bit of it and record it in my stories. Here's your money, grandchild number 4. I'm hiking the Grand Canyon with it. But hopefully that they'll be with me. But those stories have carried me through. I want to share all of that with my family and generations to come. I want to share my recipes. My son has a favorite dish that I make, and I guarantee you his wife does not know that recipe. Okay, but she's going to because I'm going to leave it for her. My second grandson loves pecan pie, but he only eats Grammy's pecan pie. So there's a little trick to making his pie that I will share as well. But so see, it's not about the jewelry. It's not about the money. It's not about the stuff. It's the knowledge. It's the little things. It's your wisdom. It's your spirituality. When were you saved? Were you saved? Why is it important? And I guarantee you this, at my final going away service, we're going to have a party. There won't be a tear shed unless they're laughing so hard, because that's just who we are. We have holidays, we have a party. We have a birthday, we have a party. So why should it be any different? And I want to share with all the women out there that I can touch to let them know that their years can be just as golden as mine. And I'm going to get them out of those recliners, and I'm going to teach them step by step by step on how to do a few things.
I love that, Argie. I oh dear, I'm just laughing all the way through because you're such a joy, right? Okay, listeners, viewers, now you know how much we love why we love Argie. The stories, the humor, the just the matter of factness when you're speaking. And one of the things that I really wanted to bring, you made it very, very clear in there, is that part of that legacy are the memories, leaving the memories, because we think about legacy and automatically we go to like the money, or we go to a business, or like a school of thought,
Yes.
instead of this beautiful collective memories. And you were talking there about recipes, and I think about every time I make my mother, like my mother passed away 7 years ago now, and every time I make her lasagna. It's got my twist. I do a little twist, but she's right there in the kitchen with me. She's with me. I can feel her. She's cooking with me. What a wonderful legacy to leave through the memories and through the recipes and the stories and everything that's handed down. That's really piqued my interest there with the recipes. It's such a wonderful thing to leave.
And let me tell you, I have handwritten recipes for my grandmother. I probably would have to hurt somebody if they tried to take those away from me. I even have matted and framed some of them just because it's her handwriting. And then my niece has this, she's a very crafty person, so she figured out a way to scan that in and then put it on a tea towel. And so each of us kids have a tea towel with our grandmother's recipe hanging in the kitchen. So
Oh,
every time you go in the kitchen, you just feel their presence. And
yeah.
it's, yeah. And that's just one of many, many stories. So I have to tell another story, and this is on myself.
Okay.
Both my grandmothers and my mother taught me how to cook, and my aunts. And this is a big family. Well, I call it a family secret, but they were always pushing it out in the world because of all the things I could cook and all the things that I could do. I could not make pie crust worth a flip. To this day, I still cannot make pie crust. And every one of them took a turn teaching me how to make their pie crust and the little things that they did. And invariably, mine would end up in the trash can. So finally, my mother says, this is kind of embarrassing because we're a family of cooks and you can't make pie crust. And I said, Mom, you just ate a piece of my pecan pie. How was that crust? She said, well, it's delicious. I said, it came out of a box. And I said, I don't care who you tell that. That little Pillsbury pie crust guy
Yeah. Yeah.
makes the best pie crust, the flakiest pie crust in the world. And I use him all the time. So he's now part of our family. So or at least from my standpoint, he is.
I love that, Argie. No shame in my game. I'm
None.
free. So, listen, I could talk to you for hours about cooking, especially Southern cooking. But anyway, we'll talk off camera because I lived in St. Louis for a while and I really got addicted to biscuits and grits and gravy. But anyway,
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I would love to talk more about this wonderful her life legacy. So you were speaking earlier about you want to work with these wonderful human beings who are maybe thinking that I just need to go onto my rocking chair and live out my last chapter in a very casual, kind of peaceful, non-eventful way. And you're saying, no, 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 no. I'm going to shake you up and we're going to create something wonderful together. So where does that start? Can you share a little bit more about the work, like the work that you're really passionate about and the clients that you work with?
Yes. And what I do is I have an individual conversation. Each client's different, each family's different. So I have to have that one-on-one chat with you to see what's important and what's missing and how I can direct and help you. Like, for instance, one of the ladies that I worked with, she's a retired teacher, and her husband was a retired firefighter for 35, 40 years. And he passed away unexpectedly. And she was so lost. As you can imagine, losing a mate, she was lost. But worse than that, she'd never pumped gas in her vehicle. He always did that. He always bought all the groceries. He balanced the checkbook. She was taken care of, and it was their way of life. And she said, I didn't know how to appreciate him until he was gone, because then she had to learn how to do all of this stuff. And that's hard for me to realize that there are women that have never pumped gas, or in today's society plugged it in to charge it or whatever, but she didn't know how to do that. And as she kept digging deeper, she learned that Alzheimer's had kicked in quite early, and she didn't see that with him because she was so close to him. He had not paid taxes in almost 12 years. And she was left with that. She was left with, how in the world do I pay the mortgage on my house? So many things she didn't know how to do. And of course, I was one of the first calls. She's like, I don't even know where to start. And I said, well, you started, you reached out to me, and I'm going to help you get through this. So every story, everyone's life is a little different. And I think one of the main things is, if there's a broken link in your family, and by that I mean a daughter that hasn't talked to her mother in a few years, or a son, or it could be anyone. It could be a brother and a sister that haven't talked. Now's the time to mend those fences. And I have a template that helps write a letter of not necessarily forgiveness, but it could be that. But it's a, let's settle this issue before we're both done, before it's too late. I have several templates. Or if you're a grandmother that you want to just leave a blessing for your grandchildren, you could write each one of them a letter. And so I have a template for that. So, most women don't slow down long enough to think about this.
Yeah.
And it's all those little things that we take for granted, that my friend took for granted that her husband was doing for her. And I can't tell you how many boohoo phone calls that we've had together, but she's in a better place now. And she fully sings my praises because she said, I wish I'd have met you years ago. I would have made sure that at least my name was on the phone bill or the electric bill. So many stories of women who don't realize the little things, that you need to have a second name on a utility bill. Because if something happens to your spouse or your partner or whatever, you're going to get your electricity turned off.
Yeah.
And that, seriously, I've seen that happen as well. And to me, that is so sad, because it's just women not planning And then on the flip side of that, I've seen some really independent women that I think I've got all my affairs in order, but they've forgotten one big thing. Oh, it's your puppy. Ah, there's just so many things. Now, Abby, you have to understand that I didn't know all of these things. I'm what I'm preaching here, I'm guilty of not knowing a lot of it. I went and got a law degree. Now, I didn't sit for the bar exam, but I got this law information in my back hip pocket so I would know and understand the laws of how to help women stay out of probate, insurance. Oh gosh, I can just sit here and think of stories like there was a divorce and a remarriage, and the husband forgot to take his ex-wife off of a life insurance policy. Well, the ex got everything. In that particular case, he had not even put her name on the deed. So not only did she lose her insurance, life insurance, but she lost her home. And I'm like, okay, it's one thing to trust your spouse, but it's another thing to seriously take care of business. And I'm not saying that to be ugly, Abby. It's just we need to do these things.
Yeah. It seems really simple and so obvious, but it's not, right? It's not. And I'm sure that you have had so many clients and friends and people within your community that has got similar stories. And I think this is a really interesting conversation to have because you were talking about this being relevant to everyone. I just, as you're listening to this, as you're watching this in the audience, please use this as an opportunity to ask yourself exactly what Argie's just been saying. Is my name on the utility bill? Do I have that financial autonomy in my life? Can I do things? Can I sustain myself? Or am I completely dependent on someone else? Because this is about empowering ourselves in advance, right? And isn't it true that women live longer than men? I mean, am I making that up or is that true? Like we live longer than men. So it's kind of law of averages that actually if we are going to outlive our if our partner is a male, if we are going to outlive our spouse, then actually these things could very quickly come into fruition, and really having this knowledge in the first place is so important, right, Argie?
Yes, and I'm not just talking to 55 plus.
Yeah.
Let's go back to recently married and you now have a new child and you don't have a will. Something as basic as a will. My goodness, you can go online and get the outline for free and then take it to the courthouse and file it. Because what if you have a car accident and you have not listed someone to take care of your child? Let's say, unbelievably, both of you are killed in this car accident, and here's this child. Do you want this child to go into foster care? Of course not. But do you want the child to go live with, and I'm making this story up as I go, your sister who's on drugs? Or do you want them to go to a grandparent that you know would raise them correctly? If you don't put that in writing, it's quite likely that child could fall into the foster care system. And it's so simple, so very simple to do a simple little will. And don't just put it there and forget about it. You need to review it every so often because you're going to add children, things are going to happen. And what about a credit check? I once knew this young lady who trusted her partner, that I don't think they were even married, to be honest. They were living together. He had 15 credit cards in her name and had maxed them all out. She had no clue.
Wow.
Come on, ladies of all ages.
Yeah.
Don't get caught in these situations.
So the clear message here, Argie, that we're hearing loud and clear is to get your ducks in the row. And as you're speaking, you know what? I'm tickering. I'm like in my mind going, is my name on all the utility bills?
Mhm.
Like, when was the last time I looked at the will? Like, we've got a dog. We haven't got children, but we've got a dog. Who's going
Well,
to look after the dog? Like, all of these things. So, really brilliant, brilliant advice. Archie, I just wanted to pick on upon something that you said earlier, which I think is really important, and I would really love for you to share a little bit more with the audience.
mhm.
You were talking about being able to repair broken relationships, having those conversations, clearing the air. I call them clearing conversations.
Mhm.
My experience of this is profound. I would say one of the biggest healing journeys I've ever done within my life was having a healing conversation with both of my siblings. I've got a brother who's 9 years older than me. I've got a sister that's 11 years older than me. We have very different views and opinions of the world. They believe in things that I don't, and vice versa. And there has never really been a very adult and loving relationship between us. It's been very fractured for various reasons that I'm not going to go into now. But one of the things that I decided to do, probably, I think it was about 7 years ago, is that I phoned my brother and my sister and had conversations with them and actually took ownership for my actions within the whole situation and really looked at it through their point of view and with that lens. And what that enabled us all to do was to have, I had a conversation with my brother and my sister, and we told each other we loved each other. And that was such a gift because I now know that my brother loves me and my brother knows that I love him. And even though we might not have a brother-sister relationship in this life, and we have different opinions and points of view on things, we love each other. He's my brother. I love him. And
Mhm.
how amazing is that? Can you please share with me a little bit about your point of view on the power of having these healing conversations with maybe people in your past that have fractured relationships? And what does that then give that person access to when they do that?
Peace. It's just inner peace. And it's so amazing. And if you've never experienced it, I highly recommend it. I grew up with an older brother and a younger brother. I was very, very close to my older brother who passed away a couple of years ago from ugly cancer. I guess it's all ugly, but here his was exceptionally ugly. And we had such a close relationship. We knew that we loved each other because we were so close and we shared so many stories. Little brother, on the other hand, about 15 years ago, acquired a new wife, and he came to both of us and said he no longer wanted to be in our family, that he had a new family, and we're still at that point. And it would be so nice to have peace around that. Now, there were some things, horrible things that happened in those 15 years that this has been going on. So we'll never be close like I was with my older brother, but it still would be very, very nice to have that peace. And if I could help but one person obtain that peace, and if that meant that I'm caught in the middle and I have to talk to both in separate rooms like mediation, like a lawyer would do, I can do that. But to help one person find that inner peace, it's almost like the world's lifted off of your shoulders. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that interpretation, Archie.
And I think that's what I live for, is to help women find that peace, whether it's financial peace, spiritual peace, emotional peace. There's so many pieces out there that we can pull together.
What is it? Having these clearing conversations, how does that then? So you're talking about peace, but what's the ripple effect? 'Cause there's always like, there's the thing that you do, right? And the solution so it's like, okay, I'm going to have this conversation and I'm going to make peace. And that's that. But actually, then, as happens so often, when we kind of deal with one part of it, like heal something, then that has a ripple effect, right, into our life. So, what if someone was to come and work with you and do this really powerful work? What else would they expect to be happening in their life? What's the ripple effect of that?
You might meet new family that you never knew that you had. Like in my case, my younger brother has three new grandchildren that I've never met. I mean, one of them is 15, 16 years old, and the other two are younger. But to have a relationship with those kids, now you know how I am about my kids, my grandkids, and everybody, Ramonda's kids, and your dog, and that's just who I am. But that would be like three new family members that I could spoil rotten and share my jewelry with or whatever. So that's simplistic, but that's personal for me. But other people, there's no telling. This could be decades of a divide that could be healed and that could go forward for decades to come. So, yeah, don't ever give up on that either. Don't go to your grave thinking, I should have said I'm sorry. Just go ahead and say it, but mean it when you say it. Don't fake it till you make it type thing. But oh, the ripple effect is just, it's almost hard to put into words what it can mean, the healing. Several years ago, I wrote one of those letters to a long lost cousin. His father was my uncle, which I dearly loved, but he lived way in California, so I hardly ever got to see him. But I knew he had the son. But the family had been divided over some silly situation. I'm not even still today sure why, but I wrote a letter to him. And oh, the ripple effect that that had. He only lived like an hour and 20 minutes from me, and we didn't even know we were that close. He had the same degree that I had. He loved cows. He loved animals like I did. We just clicked. He was like that missing piece in my life. And oh my gosh, we had so much catching up to do. And not one time did we bring up the discussion of the split. Why were we divided? Because we didn't care. We were back together. And I had so much fun with my long lost cousin. We both had red hair. That's back when I had color in my hair. He did too. And I'm like, where'd you get that red hair? And he's like, same place you got yours. So, you know, yeah, it's hard to put into words the ripple effect, what it can do for generations to come. And
Yeah.
I introduced him to my son. They became instant friends. Just when he had a daughter, she now lives in Texas. I haven't seen her lately, but I'll be writing another letter reaching out to her saying, this is your long lost cousin that used to rock you in the rocking chair. So, yeah.
Argie, that's just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I really, and what you were talking about there, like the ripple effect is not just in your life, it's also, it's like healing generations. You're healing past generations, you're healing future generations. Your sons now have this relationship, which
Mhm.
means that they'll be their family, and who knows what's going to happen in future generations. And I
Yeah.
just really want this to be a sign for any of our audience that are listening, watching this, to go out there and really have the courage to reach out and do that healing work. It's so powerful.
And if you need help, I'm here to help you. You can go to my website. It's herlifelegacy.com, HER Life Legacy, all run together. And there's a place that you can book a call on there. I am happy to give away as many free calls as I need to be able to help ladies make the start. And I can answer any questions. If I don't have the answer, I have an advisory board that backs me up. I have a CPA, an investment firm, several attorneys that if I can't answer those questions, I know I can go to them and they'll give me an answer for you.
Yes,
So
we know you're very connected, Argie. You've got all your ducks in the row.
well, I'd like to think so, but there may be one or two that I need to pat on the butt and get them back in line. But yeah, but I'm here to help.
We're going to put all the links down below. So we'll put the link to your website, social media, and all the different ways that you can contact Argie. Argie, I wanted to ask you really specifically about your legacy. What's the legacy that you're leaving in this world?
Kindness to everyone, love for everyone, and peace for everyone. And I want the world to know that I am a mixture of Cherokee blood and Irish blood. And I didn't even know that until I was almost 45 years old. Not that it would have changed me, but when I found that out, it was like, oh, a whole new group of cousins I can go and get in touch with. So I want everyone out there to know that you need to leave your story, good or bad. I mean, if you think it's bad, someone else will put a twist on it and tell you that it's not bad, that it's changed a generation. So don't be afraid to tell your story. It took me 68 years and Abby and Ramonda to get me to tell my story. And that is the truth. I'm speaking the truth. Abby can tell you, I finally opened up and wrote my chapter in the book. And I was invited to probably book 1 or 2, and it took me to book 4.
Yeah.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
To get around to doing it.
Yeah.
And when I did actually sit down and write it, it took me, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours because I'd been thinking about it for all those years. And I'm like, okay, it's time. Let's just do this. And then I backed away and I thought, oh my gosh, what if some of my family reads this? And I'm like, well, dummy, that's why you wrote it, to tell your real story. So don't be afraid to put it out there. It's okay.
Absolutely. I was just looking, while you were talking, I was looking in my drawers to see if I could find the book because I've got it somewhere and I can't find it of all the times that I can't find it. But yeah, Argie, I just wanted to say congratulations for everything and really honoring your bravery and your wisdom because it's all very well to teach something, but then to be in your role model, like your full role model, modeling it, it's just so wonderful. And you've overcome any resistance that there's been in putting yourself out there and sharing in a very vulnerable way. And just know that there's huge inspiration in everything that you do. And we love you because of who you are and the way that you show up and your legacy. And we really honor your bravery. So, and courage and humor. So, congratulations for everything that you've achieved. And I'm so happy that you are stepping into this era now where you are helping others to be able to create that legacy for themselves. Really, if Argie's stories have touched you in any way and you feel compelled and moved and inspired to make a difference in your life, however old you are, then please reach out to her because she really is a fabulous, fabulous woman. Argie, are there any last thoughts that you'd like to leave with us?
Shine, ladies, shine in those golden years. You're just getting warmed up.
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so you can, Argie, where do you hang out on social media? Share your socials with us.
Okay, so I just go by my complete name. It's Argie, Argie Nell. Nichols, Nichols, and that's what I use for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I think that's all the ones that I'm currently on. I'm working on Pinterest and a few others, but
Yeah, oh yes, Pinterest. Absolutely. You'd be great on Pinterest.
I'm
Great.
I'm trying to get there. By the end of September is my goal, is to hopefully be there. So
Good. And I love that you're on TikTok. I've seen your TikToks. They're fabulous. I brought Rudy on because we're talking about legacy, and this is my child.
oh, he's beautiful.
He's ready to go for a walk. Argie, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor, as always, speaking to you. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Women Thrives podcast and also being a speaker on our summit.
Oh, thank you. I am honored to do all of it.
So, thank you so much, everyone, for watching and for listening. Let's start a conversation. What has this conversation sparked in you? What's the legacy that you'd like to leave? Please reach out and share with us. Reach out directly to Argie. We'll put all of her details below. Reach out to us at Women Thrive. Let's start to get this conversation flowing. And if there is something that you feel needs to be cleared in your life as well, the clearing conversations that Argie has spoken about, I would highly, highly recommend it in terms of healing. And as Argie was talking about those ripple effects, you just never know what's going to come off the back of those conversations. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and for your participation and for your support with the Women Thrive Summit. We create these episodes for you, to share with you these wonderful, wonderful women that we have speaking on our stage. Argie being one of our speakers who's going to be speaking on our 2026 summit, which we are very, very excited to launch in March of next year as we're recording this. Or of course, you might be watching the replay of this many years in the future. And if so, it was a great summit, wasn't it, Argie? Go and watch the replay.
Absolutely. Don't miss it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you on the next episode. Lots of love.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Women Thrive Podcast. I'm so thankful for you as a listener for spending time with us, myself and my co-host Abigail, to hear our conversations with our guests. If you have had the opportunity to hear our podcast, do make sure you leave a review and share this episode with your audience as well. This has helped us reach the 5 top % globally ranked podcast, as well as reach more than 30,000 downloads to date. Your support means so much to us, and this is how we get to reach more people around the world. At Women Thrive Media, we're here to amplify voices of women and empower women to take the center stage and shine a spotlight on their messages.